Okay, so today we're really excited to announce CleanRoom 3. And heads up, this one's a game changer.
CleanRoom 3 is a complete ground-up design. We took everything we've learned over the last 5 years and started with a blank page.
The result: the world's most advanced, most intelligent cleanroom. And what's more, it's easy to deploy.
CleanRoom 3 supports even more storage technologies and all the main hypervisors.
CleanRoom 3 also delivers the most comprehensive validation and testing available on the planet today. It brings in security penetration tests, data classification to complement the already best-in-class malware scanning that we offer today.
It also enables custom workflows to conduct your own continuity tests on restored data.
CleanRoom 3 doesn't require any third-party licenses.
And with Aurora AI baked in, this is the smartest cleanroom available today.
And don't forget the speed of deployment, boys. CleanRoom 3.0 can be deployed in just a few hours.
That's right, and today we're putting that claim to the test. In a moment, we'll switch to Ian Richardson, our CTO in the Predatar lab over in Oxford.
Ian will be deploying Predatar CleanRoom from scratch over the course of this event, so just in a few short hours.
So let's start the timer and say hello to Ian.
Ian, how are you doing?
Really good, thank you.
How are things going at Predatar HQ today?
Amazing, thank you.
So what are you going to be showing us today?
Going to be showcasing CleanRoom 3, which is our ground-up redesign of everything that we've learnt over the last 5 years. Everything started back in version 1 of the CleanRoom, which was NSX based, was taking 5 days for us to do a deployment. We sped that up in version 2 with the OVA deployment, getting things down to a single day for to getting up and running. But now we've got fully automated deployment and updating. It's only going to take us a couple of hours to actually get a CleanRoom up and running with version 3. We've removed our requirement for VMware. We've got support for new platforms including Hyper-V and AHV. We've also got no third-party licensing requirements, which is reducing the cost of getting a CleanRoom up and running. We've got a platform now for a ton of new features, which we're going to start showcasing shortly. Finally, it's really about the speed of deployment here, which I'm really going to need today to be able to complete this challenge. We're going to be going through doing a full implementation of Predatar to a new customer, linking in a couple of backup environments, and actually getting things up and running, recovering, scanning.
Ian, I know you get to get going as the clock is ticking, but don't forget to switch your feed from your camera to your desktop view.
Yes. So here we go. So when the order has been placed, a Predatar link is generated, which allows us to come in and register for an organisation within Predatar. This is the page that you're then presented with. It's very simple and easy to fill out. It's all wizard driven, and there's no requirement to really get in touch with the Predatar team to be able to get your organisation up and running. So I'll go through and fill out the details. You can then go through this and do it at your own pace and fit it into your current process. As we get on and view the second page, you can then start to fill out your server details. This will then start to populate some of the agent details that we require for Predatar. So when we go on to the next section where it's getting our license key and deploying the Predatar agent itself, some of those details will be pre-populated. So we'll get these filled out and then we'll move on to downloading and installing the Predatar agent. So Ben and Rick, if you want to check back in with me later on and see how I'm getting on, I'll give you another update in a bit.
Thanks, Ian. We'll check back in with Ian later. Right, before the next session, let's check in with Ian to see how he's getting on. Ian, can you give us an update?
Sure can, Rick. So we've registered a new org in Predatar. So that's got the basis of the customer set up. We've created users, so we have something to log in with. We've then gone and got the Predatar license key, and we're going to need that for when we're deploying the agent, and the agent then knows who to connect to and which org we're registered with. We're now onto the process of starting to register a new CleanRoom, and this is a totally new part for CleanRoom 3. This is fully wizard based, idiot-proof way of going through and creating the CleanRoom, and it's going to guide us through. But probably best is that I share my screen and I show you now. So here I've logged into my new organisation. You'll see that everything is 0 as it's a completely blank instance of Predator. We've got no agents connected and we've got no data coming into Predator at the moment, so we have nothing to report on. However, we want to get the CleanRoom building as quickly as possible. So let's click on the IQ alert on the right hand side for configuring the CleanRoom. This is going to start up our new wizard. Here in the CleanRoom setup screen, you'll see that there's a number of details that we require for generating the CleanRoom. Here is mostly networking details that need to be set up for the CleanRoom. So just give me a few seconds to go through and type these details in. And then go on and click next. What Predator will now do is take those networking details and generate us a customized ISO. And this ISO image we can then take and burn to USB, burn to DVD, or we can import it into a virtual environment and attach it to a virtual machine. Once the wizard has finished generating the ISO, we'll click next. We'll then have the ability to download that ISO, and then what we'll do is we'll then boot from that ISO and Predator will start to build the CleanRoom automatically, downloading the software that's required, configuring itself, making sure that all the details are as per that setup screen, so all the networking is pre-configured. The whole thing is fully automated. Rick and Ben, I think it's back to you.
Speaking of keeping an eye on things, let's check in with Ian and his Predator CleanRoom implementation.
Time is ticking in. How are you getting on?
We're getting there, guys. So as I showed you before, we'd run through the wizard, we created the ISO. So that ISO I've now loaded and booted our new CleanRoom from. That has run through, it's gone through and downloaded the software from Predator repository. It's then configured itself as per the wizard settings that we'd set when you previously checked in with me. It's then also gone through and set up the EDR scanning component, made sure that it's downloaded the latest signatures. So that part is now all ready to go. Next, we're going to be deploying the Predator agent, but let me show you. So here on my Windows virtual machine, I've already downloaded the Predator client zip file along with the license key for our newly registered org. What I'm going to do is go and extract out the Predator agent executable and just put that on the desktop so that it's along with the license file. And then I'll just double click and go open up the install wizard for the Predator agent. Just work through the wizard. It's very simple. Agree to the terms and conditions. I need to select a license key that I have in my org, and then choose somewhere to install the Predator agent. Then at this point, if I've got any internet proxy settings, I can tick this box. I don't in this environment, so I'll leave that unchecked here. And then click next to go on and proceed with the installation. That will install and click finish. Then I can go through and open the Predator client from the icon that's just been added onto the desktop. We'll see the configuration screen open up here. And then down the left-hand side, we have all the different connectors into different backup servers that we can go in and monitor. At this point, I need to go through and add in all the details for what we're going to be monitoring as part of this project. So what I'll do at this point is hand back to Ben and Rick while I get all these details collected in, and I'll catch up with you all in a while.
So thanks, Ian. We'll check back in with you again in a short while.
So before we wrap up today's event, let's have one final check-in with Ian and his Predator Cleanroom deployment.
This is it, Ian, the end of the show. How have you got on? Ian, are you there?
Hey, joking. So, we're pretty much there. But rather than me talk all the way through it, why don't I show you? So now Predator is up and running, and we can see that we've got our agents connected and the data is flowing through into Predator. We're seeing a lot of zeros across the screen, and that's because we've only just got everything set up in the last hour or so. Predator is gathering data via the APIs from the backup products that we've configured, and is collecting that data and then ingesting it. And so over time we'll gradually build up more and more data, and anomalies detection and things will start to run, which will start to build and populate the recovery threats that we're seeing at the top. You can see at the bottom that we've already run some recovery tests and making sure that the Cleanroom is communicating correctly with the Predator platform. Also, one of those recovery tests that we've run is one that's reported some malware. So we'll click into that and have a look at what that malware is. So you can see from this Zerto node that has come up on the screen, we can then click on View and go in and view more details about that specific node. On here we can see our node details screen. You can see the name and an element of descriptive information about the node. We've also given it a cyber grading already, and that cyber grading has come up as F because malware has been detected inside the node as part of the testing. There's also under the node performance we can see statistics around how the node has been performing in terms of backup success, the number of restore tests that we've run, and we can also go through and view that about backups, but also about recoveries or anomalies as and when that comes through. Down the right hand side we've got cyber protection. That's running us through the fundamentals we have in place for ensuring that a node is well protected. And then finally along the bottom we've got the activity timeline showing us over time how the node has performed as part of being in the Cleanroom. If we wanted to go in and do a retest, we can click on the date along that activity timeline at the bottom, click on test and scan, and we'll then see that node has then been taken through into the Cleanroom and a recovery has started for that node. At this point, Predator is now utilizing the API with Zerto to go and initiate a recovery of a node to within the Cleanroom, and then actually get that data mounted up and scanned. And what we'll do is we'll start to track this as we progress through, and we'll keep cutting back to this to see how it is progressing. We'll click on Show History at the bottom, and we can see on the test history that the scan that we ran earlier, which has come up as infected, and then we can click on View again. So back on the node detail screen, we can see that Aurora is now available down the right hand side under cyber protection. Aurora is our AI ops assistant, which we released earlier in the year, and this is now built in to the node details screen, where we're actually able to utilize Aurora to give us more details about this Zerto node that we have up. So clicking on the Aurora icon will load the recovery and security test summary, and this will give us details, as you can see, for recovery test, penetration test, vulnerability test, and the XDR test. Details against each of those are shown underneath. At the bottom we can see recommendations around the security posture of this node. Should you need any more details or to generate a description of what's happening, should you need any more details around what has been happening specifically for this node, you can click on Generate Executive Summary, and that will bring out a description that's been written by Aurora of everything that has happened for this node, which you can now see. And then at the bottom you can copy that out to your clipboard for pasting into elsewhere, or we can go back and onto the node details screen. So let's go back in and check in on our Zerto scan that we kicked off earlier. We can see that the recovery test is running. You can now see that there are 4 nodes in the cleanroom, and then if we click on the bar we can go through to the cleanroom. There we can see our node that is up for scanning earlier, and that is now moved on into the penetration test part of the scan process. This part is new for Cleanroom version 3, and what will be happening is the workload would have booted up within the cleanroom, will be running, and we'll be running a set of penetration testing tools to go through and understand any sort of vulnerabilities or holes that may reside within that workload, and those will then be reported upon within Predator. That will continue to run and will take a few minutes to go through. So what we'll go on and do is, earlier in the year we released the recovery risk report. So what we'll do is we'll dive into that and view a bit of the detail of what that's already displaying for us. So here in the recovery risk report we can see our overall report. Along the top we have the different node groups that we can go through. These reports are also generated on a weekly basis. So what we have there is a date drop down, so you can go back through and view previous weeks' worth, so you can see how your environment has developed over time. Mainly in the middle we've got the overall cyber grade, and then you can see how this is made up into 3 different categories of security, the recovery risks, and also the complexity of your estate. To the right of those are the number of findings which have been found in each category, giving a total on the far right hand side of all of the findings. At the bottom we've got an executive summary which you can use to share and give an overall view of your environment, along with some recommendations that will be put in, and all of this has been built by Aurora, which we were speaking about earlier. So we click on the View Details button, and that takes us through to the report findings for the recovery risk reports. For time's sake, what we'll do is we'll just go through the risk section of the report and expand that section out. Here we can see we've got 2 findings as part of the report, and to the left we've got a number of donut charts which are giving us some detail of what has gone into this recovery risk. Here we've got, good backup success rate. A large amount of our backups have been scanned for malware because this is only a very small environment that we have only just set up today. And you see the number of backups that have also been tested. To the right we've got the narrative that has been generated by Aurora, which gives us an overview of the risk. And then where this really comes into its own is when we click through into the view recommendations, really focusing on what those 2 findings are that were displayed, and giving us, again, another narrative about what we can do to make these better. So that was a brief overview of the recovery risk report, and what we'll do is we'll now go back and check on how our scan was running. Going back to the home page, clicking through into the clean room, you can see our scan was previously running its penetration test and has now gone on to doing the vulnerability scan. So as part of that vulnerability scan, what's going to be doing is looking for any out-of-date software or anything that could be done to increase the security posture of that node, maybe upgrading the version, out-of-date versions of Windows, things like that. While that runs and continues to run through in the background, what we'll do is we'll pop back to the home screen, and what we'll do is show you how our newly released Aurora chatbot is going to operate. So what we can do is we can open up the Aurora chat and type in a question. So here we'll use, why is my grade only a C? We ask Aurora that question, and Aurora will then type us back a response. showing us some detail of why our grade has only been that C. Obviously, this is just because the environment is still quite small and still quite new, and we don't have a lot of the history to build up from yet. So I'll ask Aurora another question. Nodes most at risk of failure to recovery. Aurora's gone through all of the detail that has already been collected in the back end and has highlighted that this prod_215, which has been backed up by Zerto, is most at risk. It's lacking in security fundamentals, and it's also got a number of out-of-date software. Aurora's also suggested that we kick off a full recover and scan of it, and has asked if we want to do it now. So I'll say yes to doing that. What Aurora will now do is proceed on and look to recover that virtual machine into the clean room. So what we'll do is back on the home page, we can then see that another node, so we've now got 5 nodes in the clean room, and we can then click through into that, go through into the clean room and see how our recovery from earlier is running. Here we can see our recovery from earlier has gone on to doing its XDR scan, and also the recovery from Aurora for that Zerto node prod215 is also in the process of recovering. So as you can see here, we've managed to get our clean room up and running in the few short hours that we've had. We've got a new Predator organisation registered, we've got the Predator agent deployed, integrated with backup software, which is then using APIs to collect data and populate Predator databases. We've managed to do some test recoveries and scanning. Those are running and populating. So also Aurora is collecting data and providing us insight and recommendations without us having to manually create reports or understand the data that is being presented to us. All of this together makes the latest version of the clean room much quicker to deploy and easier to use, and hopefully that is very visible in this latest version. So that's probably everything from me. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks Ian, what a fantastic result. And what a day it's been. We've covered a lot of ground, from the realities of backup resilience to the cutting edge innovations that are shaping our future.
And we couldn't have done it without you. Your engagement, questions, and participation have made this event truly special.
We hope you found today's sessions insightful and that you're walking away with new ideas and strategies to take back to your teams.
Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep connecting with us and with each other. The journey to ensuring recoverability is ongoing, and we're all in it together.
So keep an eye on your inbox too. We'll follow up with some useful content, some useful links, and most importantly, we'll reveal the prize winners.
Until next time, stay resilient and keep innovating.
Goodbye. Thanks for being a part of Control 24.
See you next year.